Story 1. Am I the a-hole for kicking my cousin off of my sister's wedding Zoom call? My 27 male, older sister 30 female, and her fiancé 31 male were planning for over a year for their wedding to be this month. Obviously they can't have the wedding as planned, but they still would like to get married, so they decided on a Zoom wedding where all of the family and friends would just call in to watch the officiant, my sister, and her fiancé. My sister didn't want to be in charge of hosting the Zoom call because she thought it would stress her out, so she asked me to, and I gladly accepted. She and her fiancé decided to invite everyone they originally wanted to, and it was a very big list. When we were going over the list, my sister mentioned to me that she wanted everyone else to be muted for the majority of the wedding, as she was worried that others would talk over her and her fiancé and, quote, overshadow them on their big day that was already scaled down. However, her and her fiancé said that I should unmute everyone at one point so everyone could talk and have a nice time with each other. Fast forward to the day of the wedding. Everyone is muted during the ceremony, which goes great. And so I then unmute everyone and ask to please raise a hand if they'd like to talk so it doesn't get confusing. My cousin, around my age, starts waving his hand crazily as he's with his longtime girlfriend, also similar age, I guess. He's a very gregarious guy, so I was not surprised. Then he says stuff like, "My sister and her husband are such an inspiration, it's given me the courage to do this." Then turns to his girlfriend and pulls out a box that's the size of an engagement ring box. I immediately saw this as him trying to steal the spotlight, something that he's done since we were kids. Example, he would secretly mess up my sister and I's drawings if the adults would praise ours, and booted him off the call. Then I quickly announced that my cousin had technical difficulties and would not be joining again. Everyone else accepted this and went about talking, and my sister and her husband did too. The rest of the wedding went smoothly, except for the fact that my cousin kept texting me angrily saying that he finally wanted to propose as a surprise with family all around, and I ruined it. My aunt and uncle texted me the same. Am I the a-hole? Don't propose at weddings. Unless the groom and the bride both give you permission and they're like, "Oh my God, you're thinking of proposing. You should do it at our wedding. That would be wonderful. All the family will be there. It'll be such a wonderful thing." Unless you explicitly get that permission from them, you don't propose at a wedding. Don't do it. Don't steal the spotlight. That's their day. It's important to them. Don't do it. And if she didn't want people talking during the ceremony because it might overshadow stuff, that would definitely overshadow stuff. So, yeah, no, you are not the a-hole. Your cousin needs to, he needs to get his own thing together. I'm sorry. I know it's convenient, how convenient a wedding is for bringing family together, but no, they went through the trouble of getting that all together for their wedding, not for your proposal. Don't do it. Story 2. No, Mom, it's called kidnapping. I had served in both the regular Army and Special Operations Forces SOF community for just over 10 years when an opportunity arose. It was an assignment in the middle of nowhere, but was near what I claimed to be my hometown, military brat. I would later find out that the job was horrible, but that has nothing to do with the story. We had been in small-town USA for a couple months. We were pretty much settled in. My wife and I were not exactly prepared mentally, though. Both sets of grandparents, specifically grandmas, had been away from their grandchildren since they were born. They were like flies at the house for the first couple months. It was finally starting to subside when this happened. I should mention that my mom is different, at least I think she is. I've always been the independent type, and I rarely, if ever, call home. It's not because I don't love my parents or friends, I just don't feel the need to talk unless I really have something to say. I feel less of a need to call my mother. Generally speaking, don't expect a phone call from me. Why? She is scattered and typically has nothing useful to say. She likes to gossip, but she's the lady in a chain of gossipers that twists information and relays the wrong facts, or tries to convince me of things. Typical phone call from my mother are below. Ring, ring, ring. Hello? Hey, what are you doing? Nothing. Remember Jim Bob? No. Yeah, you do. You went to the pool with him once when you were 6 months old, when we lived in Germany. Sorry, Mom, I don't remember Jim Bob. Yeah, you do. No, Mom, I don't remember him. Well, he died. Thought you would want to know. Dear reader, this happens all the time. I have spoken on the phone with her no more than 20 times in the last decade, and at least 10 people I don't know have died. Unrelated, but this is our last conversation. Ring, ring, ring. Hello? Hi, you sound sleepy. What are you doing? Sleeping. Midday nap? No, it's 2 in the morning. I am sleeping. First name, middle name, last name. What country are you in? Lebanon? What are you doing there? Army work? I called to tell you that the random lady who used to watch you wrestle in high school passed away. Just thought you would want to know. Love you, bye. I'm bad, but she worries. I've been injured in combat 3 times. I figure I'll just tell her when I get back most of the time. Back to small town USA. It's Saturday. I'm looking forward to having some time off. My wife was a swing shift ICU nurse at the time, and she was at work. I was home with the crib midget 2-year-old and the miniature human 6-year-old. It was just the men at the house. I'd woken up, fed the humans, and plopped them down in the living room to watch Paw Patrol while I took a shower. I get the army essentials, feet, balls, and butt, and return feeling refreshed from the shower. I conduct another inventory, but something is missing. Cake, crib midget 2-year-old, is missing. He is a bipedal monster, so I don't think much of it. I just ask Kelly, mini-human 6-year-old, where his brother is. I get the typical shoulder shrug response. Great. I now have 3,200 square feet of house to work with. I will systematically check the house, either finding him in his room, watching TV, or exploring the cleaning products under the sink. The first sweep was unsuccessful. The second sweep was unsuccessful. I now enlist the help of Kelly to find the speed demon. We are now about 10 sweeps in, and I am panicking. I've talked to my wife many times on the phone. We had the lost conversation. Babe, I lost my car keys. Do you know where they're at? Babe, I lost my army thing. Do you know where it is? No husband ever wants to call their wife and say, Babe, you know the bipedal toddler we have? Yeah, that one. Do you know where it's at? I was there, though. The house we lived in was old. The locks on some of the doors were different. Very old, and some were complicated to open. Cake could not penetrate the front door. It just was not physically possible. This dude is Houdini. He was an escape artist. I was at my wit's end. I had to call my wife. The conversation went exactly how anyone would expect it to go. She was worried. She was hysterical. There was no way I would ever hold that #1 dad coffee mug ever again. I did one last sweep under the direction of my wife, but it was now time to hand in my man/parent card and call the police. 911, ring, ring, ring. 911, what's your emergency? I lost my son. Sir, you lost your child? Yes, I took a shower and now my 2-year-old is missing. I've checked the house and he's not here. What's your location, sir? Address. What is your son wearing? Thomas the Tank Engine shirt, blue diaper. Where did you last see him? I have a very large bay window. Very large. Something caught my eye. The reflection of sunlight that bounces off cars screams through the window when they pass or park. A car had just parked in front of my house. It was my mother. Great. I am now about to have a mom conversation, and this is how it would play out in my head. In my head, did not happen. Oh, hey, Mom. Hey, remember that toddler I had? Yeah. Well, I lost him. Bye. I am dreading the fact that I have 911 on the line and I'm about to tell my mother the dreaded news. Then I see it. What was it? My effing toddler. I kindly explained to 911 that I had found my human. Now I was only a bad father in the eyes of my wife in the entire dispatch center. I was seething with anger. I am a happy-go-lucky guy, super calm. Even in firefights, I simply don't stress out about much. This was not the case. I go charging out of the house. What in the F do you think you're doing? What? I just went to the grocery store. With my child. You took my child. Yeah, I stopped by and asked if the boys wanted to go. Cake did. You effing stole my kid, Mom. Stole my kid. No, I didn't. I asked. Cake wanted to go. Kelly didn't. I told Kelly to tell you. Side note, Paw Patrol is like a trance for your kids. The goddamn rapture could happen around kids while watching cartoons and they are unaware. God forbid the cable goes out, though. Then the real chaos started. I'm a warfighter with 14 combat deployments. I have said, Daddy doesn't want to watch Barney for the 20th time today exactly once. There are some fights that are just not worth it. You told Kelly, you told my 6-year-old to relay a message to me. You thought that would work? Did you make that message contingent on a toy because he didn't know where his brother was? Well, I told him, you stole my kid. Then she effing said it. I am Grandma. I can take him. Mom, you stole my kid. Oh, I just took him. It's not called took, it's called kidnapping. Oh, I didn't kidnap him. You walked in the house, asked 2 children if they wanted to go, told one to relay a message to me. Why did you not ask or tell me? I screamed out, thought you knew. I lost my crap. I went on and on with her, trying to convince me of her point. I was not having it. I was beyond mad. I called my dad to get his opinion, and he just laughed. Grandma's in trouble. She was leaving anyways. I couldn't kick her out. It didn't even concern her mentally. She was oblivious to the gravity and severity of the situation. I was not done yet, though. It just so happened that this specific weekend was a 4-day weekend for me. I had the next 2 days off with the boys. My mom was unaware. She called on Sunday and asked what time I was dropping the boys off. Ding! Light bulb moment. We had just adopted a new dog that was crate training. Let us capitalize on this. Do you think you can watch the boys at the house so you can take Lola out? I don't want her in the cage all day. Sure, I can do that. Great. Now my mom would be at my house from around 600 to 1900. Even better. My dad would be at work as well. D-Day. 600. My mom arrives at the house, still oblivious that I was still angry. No worries. I now have 12 hours to work out my frustration. I depart the house and promptly arrive at her house. Find the spare key and let myself in. I reorganize everything. I mean everything. It didn't take long to do the living room. I move the couch, I move the love seat, I move my father's chair, the coffee table, the TV. Everything gets rearranged. I even move pictures from wall to wall and use sticky tack to hang them upside down or wonky. Moving into a new place can be a hassle during military moves. I love cooking. The kitchen and wood shop are my sanctuaries. It's just such a pain in the butt to move into a new kitchen and get things where you want them. What's not a pain? Reorganizing someone's kitchen. Everything from top to bottom was reorganized. The powder room was close to the kitchen, so I put plates under the sink in the powder room and toilet paper in the kitchen drawers. Again, everything was moved. I worked my way through the house, ensuring that nothing was left untouched. The only room I didn't enter was the master bedroom. I'm one of 3 siblings. They have intercoursed it up 3 times in my brain. I was not interested or mentally willing to F with that room. I did, however, take great pride in her cricket room to ensure that I moved everything. My last act of FU in the house was taking every single remote in the house. TV, DVR, cable, lights, you name it. If it was a remote, it was now in my possession. I then returned home at normal time. The changeover was typical. She asked me how my day was, and let me tell you, it was a satisfying day of work for me. She acted as if the kidnapping event never happened. Well, she was about to be reminded that I didn't forget. It was time to crack a beer, play with the boys, and wait for that phone call. Ring, ring, ring. But remember, she's my mom. I love her, but she's different. Were you at the house today? My brain. Is she serious? What? Did you stop by the house today? I think we were robbed. Robbed? Yeah, robbers typically move your crap around. Yes, I stopped by the house. You rearranged the living room? My dad just got home during the conversation. I hear my dad talking as he enters the house. What the f? Dad's still overhearing him. Carla, what the F did you do to the house? I didn't do it. OP did. She is oblivious still, just looking at the living room. She laughs a bit and we conclude the conversation. Now I'm baffled. Oh well. Ring, ring, ring. Where in the hell are my pots and pans? There's toilet paper under the kitchen sink. Toilet paper does not go there. God damn it, OP. Dad in background. Where's the remote, Carla? I hooked everything back up. I just moved it. Things still work. Carla, remote! My mother is now walking through the house. She arrives in her arts and crafts cricket room. First name, middle name, last. What the hell did you do? I reorganized everything for you. Oh my God. Carla, where's the remote for the TV? Where are the remotes? Oh, I took them. I called out your name. I thought you heard me. She now explains to my father. Now there's hysterical laughter in the background. I'm on my way over. She arrived at the house. I'm willing to break bread and settle this under one condition. All you have to say is you're sorry for kidnapping my child and you won't ever do it again. I didn't. You want the remotes back? OP, I'm sorry for kidnapping your kid and I will never do it again. Sorry for kidnapping Cake and I will never do it again. Thank you. What time are you dropping the boys off tomorrow? I think you should come here until you figure out where your pots and pans are. See you at 6. Love you. Bye. And that's that. Military life is different. Really different. I never thought in a million years I would live in my hometown and still be in the Army. It was great at times. I was totally not expecting all the things that come with living in my hometown after being away for over a decade. The grandparents wanted to make up for years of not seeing them, and they did. There were obviously some learning struggles. Carla admitted defeat, and my dad eventually got his remotes back. Everybody won. She is still a bat crap crazy lady. I love her, but boy is she different. Cheers. Edit. Changed power room to powder room because I'm an idiot. Edit. I was active duty during this time but hated my job. Thus I went to assignment and selection and then a follow-on 6-month course to get myself a different job. I mean, first off, yeah, absolutely on the poster's side here about the fact that just calling out like, I'm taking the kids and not getting a solid confirmation, you do not take a kid then because that is not taking a kid out. That is just kidnapping. So don't do that. Please don't do that to someone's kids. Oh God. Also just going into people's houses. I can't do that. I'm not okay with it. I knock at my mother's place still. So, but second, it is nice at least that this person does seem to still have a good relationship with his mom. This isn't like awful, abusive, can't stand her territory. It's just she's different and he realizes that. And, he's a little different too. That was an interesting form of revenge that I really kind of appreciate. So, yeah, I don't know. This is maybe the sweetest story I've ever read that involves kidnapping, I guess. Story 3. My entitled mother tried to make me infertile. I'm so shocked about this, I don't even know how to react. When I was a young kid, I was assaulted and I was pregnant as a result. In my parents' opinion, it was all my fault. I chose to have an abortion. The doctors told my mother that there was a high risk of infection, so she had to give me some antibiotics beforehand. Long story short, she faked it with the doctors but never gave me any antibiotics. I had an anaphylaxis after the surgery, and the following days I've been very sick. Now, after almost 10 years, I've learned that antibiotics were meant to help me to not lose my fertility. My mother actively avoided taking medical care of me following the doctor's instruction. She's a narcissist and has always pushed me to kill myself, but this is just another level of crazy. I feel so bad, so betrayed, I don't know. I simply feel like crying right now. My mother isn't evil, she's just a narcissist and probably a sociopath. And somehow I still love her because she's my mother, even if I plan to go no contact as soon as possible. Am I nuts? I don't know. Maybe, but we can't choose who we love. My abuser is free, so there's no way she would be guilty of something for our country's law. Welcome to one of the worst European countries. Again, thank you everyone. You've really helped me to feel less alone. I'm sending a big hug to you all. So first off, my advice would be to absolutely go no contact. What you're feeling, whatever love you may have for your mother, she sounds dangerous. She sounds downright absolutely abusive. And whatever distance you can put between you and her, I would highly suggest it. You can still love someone without ever wanting to be around them. And I don't know, sometimes we just feel attachment, especially with family, because we're supposed to, and we have that connection from birth. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take care of yourself. So I'm glad that you're at least considering going no contact. 100% support that. And I'm just so sorry for everything else. That is an awful, traumatic thing that you've had to go through. And for your parents to blame you for it and all that stuff, absolutely not. What a monstrous thing to ever accuse your own child of. I think any parent who would even say something like that should lose their privilege of being a parent. That is so traumatic and mentally abusive to say to your child that, nope, you don't get to be a parent anymore. If some other person overhears that, they go to some kind of child protective services in whatever country, and that's it. Because how anyone could ever say that is beyond. Story 4. Don't want to use headphones on the bus because you have kids? I'll sing a children's song. This was a few years ago on a 13-hour Greyhound bus trip when I was in the middle of a mental breakdown. These people were listening to music loudly, and if that wasn't bad enough, it was just awful. It was the kind of rap where the only words you can understand are B and the N-word, and they were said frequently. It was driving me nuts, so I tried politely asking them to use headphones. They refused because they had kids based on the claim the kids needed entertainment. So I told them to give the kids headphones. This led to me getting cussed out, which led to a heated argument. Another passenger started loudly listening to music loudly just to troll me at this point. I tried to get the bus driver to enforce the rule that said headphones are required to listen to music on the bus. He threatened to dump me on the side of the road instead. I kind of hit my limit at that point and decided to share my misery with the whole bus. I said, okay, since we're not enforcing the rules about not being noisy and using headphones, I'll just sing. Now, it should be noted that while I don't have the best voice, I am a trained vocalist from childhood. I can at least avoid sounding like a strangled cat if I want to. I didn't want to. I launched into a very loud, hoarse, and off-key rendition of The Song That Never Ends. It took one sing-through for the troll to put headphones in. It took a couple loops before the whole bus was screaming at the other passengers to either put in headphones or turn off their music so that I would shut up. We rode the rest of the way in blissful silence. All right, the first thing I'm going to say, don't just say that, it's bad, awful music just because it's rap and contains words that you don't like. There's a whole history and stuff to that music that you probably don't understand, that I don't fully understand. Just don't mock the music just because the person's being an a-hole, okay? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, folks, like, in any public space, please don't be just blasting your music out loud if there are like other people who are trying to talk, or just go about their day. Other people shouldn't have to hear your music blaring. But especially on a 13-hour bus trip where there's even like a rule in place. Like, that's so inconsiderate. Put on some headphones. Ask for some headphones. I don't know, but don't do this stuff. My voice is getting so dry. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at these people. Don't do this stuff. You deserve it. You got. I gotta go. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.